Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be going over the new Battle Pass 13 Gold Order weapons. All of the nice, beautiful LMGs that have been added to Enlisted recently for purchase with gold orders. Now, each of these weapons is very, very good in its own right. So, you know, if you're just wondering which one to get, I'll be going through each of them and giving kind of my thoughts on them. But at the end of the day, my recommendation for this pass is going to be get whichever one is, for the faction that you play the most, or whichever faction you're currently grinding, or just whichever one you think looks really cool. There's really no wrong answer in this specific battle pass. They're all pretty good overall. If this video helps you guys out and you guys enjoy it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to get updates and be able to see all the new Enlisted tips, tricks, guides, and gameplay, all your Enlisted news, so on and so forth. Let's jump into the video, guys. So starting off with the Hotchkiss. Now, I did say that all of these guns are good, but the Hotchkiss stands above the other ones just ever so slightly. This gun is really, really strong, especially for a battle rating 2 weapon. It's got very little recoil. It's got fantastic sights. It's got a kick-ass, like, animation overall. Like, it just looks really cool, which you guys know me. That's always a nice bonus. Just look at that gunfire. I love whenever we have, like, animated magazines like that. I just think that looks so good. So, big bonus points for that. And then on top of, like I said, it is just a really good gun. It's got very little recoil, especially in the horizontal department, which is rare for LMGs. So, it just absolutely shreds people. And it hits hard. It's got good reload speed. It's got a 30-round magazine. There's really not anything missing from this gun. It's got basically everything you need, and I had multiple kill streaks of like 30 plus with this gun because it is just that good. It is dead accurate at range. It will just annihilate people. It's really good. There's not really a whole lot to say about this gun. There's nothing bad about it. I don't think that I could really find any faults in this gun overall. There's really just not any. It's just really good, guys. So there you go. All the guns are good, but if I had to pick one to be better than the rest, I would put it as the Hotchkiss. Let's move on to the other ones. Next up on our list is the Chatellerault. I know that that's not the entire name, but I'm not going to make all of our beautiful French viewers cringe by trying to pronounce the rest of it, so I'm going to be calling it the Chatellerault for this video. The Chatellerault is fantastic. It is not quite as good as the Hotchkiss that the Japanese get, but nevertheless, it is a very good LMG and an excellent counterpart to the Bren. It kind of feels like a Bren that's just a little bit easier to control, has a little bit better sights, in my opinion. The sights at first kind of feel awkward, and there's certainly some of those sights where as soon as you start shooting, you completely lose track of whatever you're aiming at, and that is a little bit of a problem with the weapon. But overall, it just fires quickly, it hits hard, it reloads really quickly. And I was honestly really impressed by this gun. I typically really hate those shark fin kind of magazine guns that this thing has. It always feels like it really blocks my my line of sight, but it's really not that big of a deal. I think this gun is a lot better than I initially thought it was going to be. It really just kicks ass, especially when you bipod it down and you're able to lay your bipod down either on like a wall or in a window, or if you can go prone. This thing becomes an absolute laser beam and will just absolutely rip people apart. Again, I had some pretty crazy kill streaks with this gun as well as with the Hotchkiss, where I was just absolutely obliterating people. It's got great target acquisition with the sights, and again, it's just dead accurate. So definitely recommend picking this gun up for anyone who is looking for some strong LMG play. The Allies have some strong LMGs, so gunner squads at BR2 are certainly a good squad to run, and this is a good complement to that squad. Next up, we have the Soviet LMG, the RPK-43. Now, it does not take an expert or really even anyone who's played the game very long to tell you the immediate, obvious problem with the RPK. It has a 15-round magazine. And in Enlisted, a game about wiping out squads of 5 to 6 soldiers all at once, a 15-round magazine is a massive detriment to your gameplay. So it's really rough. And every time I used this gun, that was the big problem that I would run into. I felt like anytime I engaged an enemy squad, I typically ended up having to reload before I could finish off the final enemy. However, that all being said, it's still a really solid gun. I mean, has very little recoil. Its sights are pretty decent. It reloads lightning fast to kind of offset that small magazine capacity. It can still be used at range. And ultimately, guys, this kind of feels like an assault rifle at BR2. Like, it feels like a BAR or like a Fedorov, with just a lower magazine capacity, which isn't bad at BR2. Like, I would never want to take this into higher BRs the way that I might be, you know, inclined to bring, like, the Hotchkiss or something into higher BRs. But at BR2, this is a pretty neat gun to use. I would say, honestly, the biggest drawback for this gun, other than the magazine, which is obvious, is the fact that the Soviets just have such piss-poor BR2 machine guns with the Madsen that to play with this gun, you have to bring Madsens, which you just don't want to do. Right, like, you don't want to have to ever use Madsens in Enlisted, and so, you know, that's kind of a big downside. But otherwise, yeah, this gun's solid. It's fun. It's fine. It's a different kind of, it's a change of pace from the Soviets, which are typically kind of like the spray and pray masters with big magazines and things like that. Though I guess in BR2, not quite as much since you don't have the big drum mags yet. But regardless, it is a fun weapon to use. It's a good gun. But always kind of be very mindful of that magazine capacity. And that brings us to our final gun, the Nor Brimps. Now, this was definitely my least favorite of all of the guns, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm probably really biased in that regard. I don't really know why I don't like this gun. I've looked over the stats, and statistically speaking, this gun is on par, if not better, than the Allied BR2 gun, the Chatellerault, or whatever I was calling it. So I don't really know why I don't like it, but I don't. I think maybe it was just the games that I played with this gun went a little bit more, you know, poorly. Maybe that factored in, and so I didn't like the gun as much. But this gun just didn't impress me in the same way that other guns have in these BR2 matches. So, you know, a big part of that might also be the fact that the Bradamont 30 is such an exceptionally good BR2 LMG that it kind of makes this one look significantly worse by comparison. Like, why bother getting a gold order gun that is kind of worse than the staple free-to-play guns that already exist? And it's just kind of, you know, a worse version. And then also there's other, like, gold orders that are better than this, right? That are LMGs for BR2. Like the Lati LMG. Or however you pronounce that. It's like a Finnish LMG. Like, that gun is fantastic, right? So, I don't know. When I think about this gun, I kind of just, like, harken back again. Like, the stats say that it is basically the same as, you know, the Allied one, but it certainly feels a lot worse. So, you know, take that how you will. If you guys play a lot of Germany, and you want to, you know, pick up some BR2 LMGs, I would personally recommend picking up the Lati over this, but I don't think that anyone's going to be really disappointed if they use this gun. So, yeah, there you have it. So what do you guys think about all this? Am I off base? Am I completely correct about these? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts as always. And while you're down there leaving a comment, like and subscribe to the channel as well, because it does help me out, and I appreciate it as always. Now, guys, you can also join our community Discord, get involved with some games, play some matches with me. I do, you know, have to record all of this content, and I typically play in matches in Discord when I do so. So if you guys are interested in playing some games with some good players, then make sure you guys jump into our community Discord. But without anything else, thank you again so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.